It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Wild Beer Company and it's a bottle of Rooting Around. It's 7% ABV. I'm really excited for this beer. I'll tell you why now. Now, let's do it. Here's the bottle cap. This is their winter series. So they do a beer in the autumn, winter, spring and summer, whereby they go around foraging at the time for local ingredients to brew their beer with. So this is beer, so it's been brewed with Rock Sapphire, Douglas Fir and Sauternes casks. Now, the reason why I'm so excited about this beer, regardless, I mean, this beer has been sent to me by Wild Beer Company. I want to get that out there first and foremost. I will be giving, of course, an open and honest beer review. But I am excited about this beer because I have been to Norway now quite a few times, and the Norwegians have this tendency when they're brewing beer to forage and pick wild blueberries and Douglas Fir and I've had ginger, and I've had this wonderful beers in Norway where they're just so, it's like tasting the forest. It's like fresh raindrops falling through the forest and that wonderful fresh smell of winter. I got a funny feeling just by looking at the beer. It's dark. It has Douglas Fir. I got a funny feeling that this is going to be a wonderful beer. Let's get it out into a glass, see what we get. Woohoo! Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening. A tremendous smoke going on. Beer in the glass then. Yeah, so far so good. Listen, yeah, let me get it all in and let me get the beer up to the microphone. It's a very similar style of beer. When you use certain ingredients like Douglas Fir and branches and wood and you know organic stuff, then it's just got that wonderful live, lovely carbonation about it. It's got a one finger, slightly off white head. Good levels of carbonation as you just heard and as you see. It's a hazy, deep mahogany coloured ale. Looks fantastic. Let's get the aroma on the beer. It's minty. It's like a menthos, what they call them. I don't really buy chewing gums, but it's got that kind of like minty. Let's take it back to basics. It smells a little bit like a polo, a spearmint polo. But then there's raisin, and there's plum, and there's fig, and there's Douglas Fir, which is pine needle, really. I mean, if you're struggling with that one, it's pine needle. There's a touch of licorice going on. I tell you what, so far with the aroma, this is bang on the money. This is exactly why I was getting so excited about the beer. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Gotta put that one down. Stone the Crows! Stone the Crows! What a fantastic beer. Oh, it's just, my palate's going crazy. Whoa, what's going on then? Ginger, lemon, pine, real pine, Douglas Fir pine. It's very organic. It's like licking the earth. It's like licking the damp floor in a forest. That sounds probably terrible to most, but that's the best way I can describe this beer. It's massively organic. It's damp. Do you know when you go into the forest, you got like the damp bark of a tree on the floor, and it kind of just, maybe if it's wet, it's squelching under your feet, and you're pulling bits of pine off a tree, and you're rubbing it together, and you're getting it on your nose. You're just taking in the atmosphere, the world around you in the forest. This is like, and it's very much like what I was drinking in Norway. It's just so lovely. It's just so, I'm struggling for words here. Let's just slow down a little bit. Plum, fig, prune, ginger, pine needle, licorice, biscuit bready malts coming through as well. It's still very much a beer. It's just wonderful. It's just a really, really wonderful beer at 7% ABV. And at 7% ABV, you get this little alcohol warming that just slides down the neck into the pit of your stomach, and it's just, yeah, it's Wild Beer Company. I mean, for years I've raved about their beers. And again, halfway through or 3/4 through the review, I want to reiterate what I said at the beginning. Wild Beer Company did send me this beer. I am not raving about this beer because I've had the beer sent to me. I'm not raving about their company because they sent me the beer. I'm just being perfectly honest with you guys. I've always been a massive fan of their Ninkasi. The Ninkasi is in one of the supermarkets in the UK. It's very reasonable for what you get for the beer. It's got a little wax top on it, and if it's a special occasion, if it's my birthday, if it's my wife's birthday, if it's Mother's Day, I've even bought it. I've gone out and bought that beer for my lager drinking brother-in-law, just to see if I could bend him, just to see if I can bend his ways into the world of craft beer. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It didn't work. He is so like Carlsberg, Carling, Stella Artois, Foster's, 24 cans for a tenner. Remember those days? They did a lot more than that now. I don't think they even do 24 cans anymore. I think they're 15 cans now for tenner or whatever you want to pay for it. But I tried because of the wax top, the 750 bottle. I thought, this is the beer. The presentation is remarkable. He likes his red wines, he likes his Rioja, and he likes his stuff wrapped up nicely. And when I seen it in Waitrose, this thing, mentioned a supermarket now. When I seen this beer in Waitrose, and it was about £9 at the time, I thought, this is the beer for him. This is the beer that's going to break his love affair for Carling. And no, it didn't work, but what I'm trying to say here, the method to my madness in that whole 2 minutes of talking to you guys about that particular subject, is that it was Wild Beer Company that made me make that decision. The other beer that I really like from Wild Beer Company is they make a beer from baker's yeast. I remember I mentioned this before to you guys. Pardon me. And you all commented in the comments about what this beer was. I can't remember. I keep forgetting the name of this beer. Anyway, they make a beer with baker's yeast, and it's about 3.2, 3.5%. It's terrific. The most sourdough. It's called sourdough. Wild Beer Company sourdough. Tremendous. Go get a little 330 bottle of sourdough. That will make your mind up regarding Wild Beer Company. Okay, I have raved about this. I've raved about the beer enough. I think it's time for me to go. And I suppose if I'm being overly critical, and I'm going to be honest here, because what would be the point in just raving about the company? There have been times, on a rare occasion, probably this has changed massively, where I have not enjoyed a beer from Wild Beer Company. And this is just me being perfectly honest with you guys, because what would be the point of me just raving and kissing Wild Beer Company because their beers are great? There are one or two that have slipped through the net that have not been as good as they could have been. If you have a look at my review of Wild Beer Company's Pogo, they put it in a can. I wasn't overly impressed with that beer. They've probably improved it. It was the transition from bottle to can that they needed a bit of time. So go and try a bottle of Pogo, see what it's like now. But when I reviewed it a few years ago, I wasn't overly impressed with it. And that's me just sitting on the fence. That's me being perfectly honest with you guys. Let's rate this beer. Wild Beer Company's rooting around 7% ABV. Terrific. I'm going to be honest, this is as good as this. It needs its own style, this. It needs, maybe it's damp, because you've got IPAs, pale ales, stouts, porters. I think this should be called Wild Forest style beer. I mean, it's just foraging. It's just wonderful. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom and cheers.